Movie critic Emily Yoshida is confused about the Emoji Movie. Confused about the Emoji Movie. Did you hear me? If you guys have never seen our show before, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the little notification bell right next to it so you can get notified every time we put a video out. Now let's take a look at this critic's review. Looking back, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that there was a small, flickering reason to believe that the Emoji Movie wouldn't be a complete travesty. In hindsight, there was hope. That's a boring sentence. You might even say it's meh. In hindsight, it's meh. After all, the adorably ubiquitous pictograms that have become a second language for at least 2 generations are a public domain entity. Their relative recent rise makes us forget that licensing-wise, there is no bigger a grab than Leaves the Movie would be. Leaves the Movie is a movie about leaves. It's like a romantic comedy starring Groot. You had me at I Am Groot. Groot voiced by Woody Allen. I bet you can't turn her into prom queen. I'm Groot. It was pretty much free to do whatever it wanted within the ridiculous, cynical parameters it had set. The Emoji Movie had nothing to sell aside from itself. Like, it didn't have enough product placement? What does that mean? Of course the movie's trying to sell itself. You don't make a movie so no one watches it. Although the way DC's been going. There's hope, in hindsight. But this was naive of me, because the Emoji Movie is selling something. In the mock tradition of countless superior Pixar films before it, it's attempting to sell a sense of childlike wonder and fascination with an ordinary, everyday object, your smartphone. Oh, you figured out the plot. Most of us did that when we saw a movie was called The Emoji Movie. You gonna see the Emoji Movie? Yeah, I heard it's about the Holocaust. Like, what the f did you think it was gonna be about? It's also not like it was an ambiguous title like Definitely Maybe, or Fast 5, or Holes, which of course all could be porn titles or what they're actually about. And in doing so, it is one of the darkest, most dismaying films I have ever seen, much less one ostensibly made for children. Did we watch the same movie? Dark? It hit on some stuff, but to say this is one of the darkest movies, man, that's a bit of a stretch. I could easily think of darker children's movies. Fantasia is darker than this. There is a kind of poetry that has emerged from their use. An emoji is worth maybe not 1,000, but certainly 100 words. And using one in place of words requires you to momentarily, subconsciously imagine that you are living in a language-free, totalitarian state where a cry-laugh symbol is our linguistic soylent. For someone trying to be intelligent, using pictures to try and convey what you're saying is language. It's not language-free. That's language. That's like saying sign language isn't language, or hieroglyphs isn't language. It's all language. The rest of your statement about totalitarian state and linguistic soylent has no bearing whatsoever because you don't even know what the fuck language is. Soylent Green is smiley winky face and people. There's a similar pathetic humor to the constricted movement and expression of Lego figurines, which the Lego Movie exploited to far greater effect. I feel like the only reason you're comparing the Lego Movie to the Emoji Movie is because it's the blank movie, because that's the name of the movie. They have literally nothing to do with each other other than a slight resemblance in title, and they're animated. The Emoji Movie's first aesthetic mistake is redesigning their titular figures to be the same kind of rubber-faced caricatures you can find in any other shrieking CGI kid distractor on the market. Really? You thought their faces looked like other faces in kids' movies? Like, what would have been better? They made them look like a smiley face, and a meh face, and a poop emoji. They didn't base it on another movie, they based it on emojis. Cause this is an Emoji Movie. Not once does this film rise above the level of humor of literally any real-world use of a simple upside-down face emoji, whose meaning I tend to translate as, "Wee, life is a horrible hall of mirrors and I am powerless to do anything but smile about it." Whoa, good lord. No wonder you thought this movie was dark. You turn a smiley face upside down and all of a sudden you become the most emo motherfucker in the world. Brings razor blades onto a Ferris wheel. You're at parties like, woo, let's get this party started! And then you put on Lana Del Rey. Hello? I know that was Adele, but that was kind of funny. If only my review of this film could be an upside down faced emoji. I wouldn't have to read this shit. The laboriously literal plot concerns the meh emoji, TJ Miller, who certainly doesn't sound like a man who's banking his career on this film as his game changer. He doesn't need a game changer. He's really, really popular. He's in Deadpool in Silicon Valley. Everyone knows his face. He's rich. Why would he change the game? It's like Michael Jackson trying baseball. Who is defective due to his ability to express a kaleidoscope of emotions beyond his regimented role. I think this is the basic principle behind the Divergent films. It could just as easily be about a commercial actor in an existential rut. For everyone who's in this movie's just a placeholder. You know Sir Patrick Stewart's in this movie, right? He doesn't need a fucking placeholder. What is it, Saturday? I'm free. Let's make a movie. What am I, a poop? Okay. Every time I poof, it goes woof. To fix his defect, he teams up with the lowly high five emoji, James Corden, who has been replaced by the newer, hipper fist bump emoji in the Hall of Favorites. Racial subtext abounds. No, it's just that people use the fist bump more now. That's it. There's nothing racial about it. Awkward high 10 emoji wouldn't be allowed in that club either. Along the way, they pass through a series of familiar apps, while a battalion of antivirus bots follow them in lukewarm pursuit. At one point, the film grinds to a halt for a game of Candy Crush. You might say it halted because he got stuck. Like in the movie, he gets stuck, so it had to stop. Like if they kept going, they would have left the main character. We gotta get out of here. Oh shit, I'm stuck. We're going anyway. And then those two characters are just like, they automatically turn into asshole emojis for leaving their friend. Yes, the actual IP of the Emoji Movie has nothing to do with the emojis themselves, except that they are the main characters and constantly doing things and on screen. And everything to do with the apps that have prime placement in the Google AdWords grade narrative. The setting of the movie is inside a phone that has apps. I really don't know how to make you understand the Emoji Movie, and I never thought in my life I would have to explain this movie to anyone. There was like a 5-year-old kid next to me who was like, I understand it all. Look, Twitter. Meanwhile, an adult who seems super jaded and would probably cry in a bouncy house has no idea what the f this movie's about. Crying in a bouncy house? Apparently, this 14-year-old boy not only has the usual suspects on his phone, Facebook, Instagram, and Spotify all make appearances, but also, mystifyingly, the Crackle app. And extra mystifyingly, a Just Dance mobile app that I wasn't even aware existed before now and currently has a 2-star rating on the Apple Store. Well, you probably didn't know it existed because it's probably just another thing that you do while cutting yourself. Or you're not a kid. Also a possibility. Like, it would be weird if he had like Stocks or Tinder or Grindr or J-Date or Farmers Only or Christian Mingle. Although he could have accidentally downloaded Bumble, because that kind of sounds like a game. There's a mumbled shorthand moral about staying true to yourself in all of this, but it is drowned out by the wall-to-wall cynicism that is the Emoji Movie's entire reason for existing in the first place. The morals of this movie were not drowned out at all. If anything, they were thrown directly at your face. And I saw it in 3D, so it was literally thrown directly in my face. There were even points where they like said the moral and then explained the moral, and then later on were like, remember that moral? The film runs through the list of corporate and zeitgeist awareness obligations in dead-eyed lockstep, making sure to get in uses of the words slay and shade, and lifting an entire section of the lyrics to Rihanna's Diamonds to telegraph a would-be important emotional beat. It's not a joke, I don't think. I don't really find it weird that if they're making an entire movie about emojis, to have trendy things be mentioned or shown. It's a movie about emojis. I mean, I agree if I was watching Dunkirk and someone's like dying and bleeding in the midst of the war, and like someone runs by with his gun and it's like, slay! Then yeah, maybe. But it's an emoji movie. In the end, Meh's embrace of his animated, multifaceted self just comes off as an ad for an Emoji Movie animated sticker set that's probably already out there. Well, if they're not gonna sell emojis with the Emoji Movie, then what's the point? Like, if they made a Coca-Cola movie and they're not like, buy Coke, then that's a missed opportunity. I don't want a Coke. There was no Coke over there. This is a film that seems beamed from a near future in which nothing goes right. Words, as the kids in the film agree, aren't cool anymore. And Patrick Stewart making jokes about soft shit is the new prestige TV. Kids communicate with emojis. Get over it. Patrick Stewart was on American Dad. Get over it. But what do I know? Nothing. Clearly. At my screening, which was for both press and a handful of unfortunate families, at the first sighting of her favorite rainbow-colored icon, a little girl behind me cried out adoringly, "It's Instagram! A new age of heroes is born." Yeah, see, this isn't for you at all. And the fact that you were watching this in a theater with people who enjoyed it and it was for them, and you still can't understand the movie or why people would watch it, makes you an idiot and just completely unaware of your surroundings. I'd say it's because you're staring at your phone, but clearly not. If it's your first time here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the little notification bell right next to it. If you'd like to see another video from us, click one of the ones on the screen. And until we see you next time, geek out and game on.